It doesn't matter whether we have trillion-dollar-plus deficits, which are unprecedented, a $16 trillion national debt. This money shouldn't be spent regardless of how much is coming into Washington.
Including tax money spent to impact the music library you have on your smartphone. A senator from Oklahoma objecting to that purchase and so many other government expenses tonight. Republican Senator Tom Coburn says he's unearthed $18 billion in wasted government spending, including $500,000 on this. A video game developed with the help of the National Science Foundation that allows players to simulate high school prom week.
Welcome to prom week.
And he says $1 million are being spent every year by NASA to develop a menu of food to be eaten on Mars at a time of layoffs at that agency. And hundreds of thousands of federal tax dollars to the Georgia Institute of Technology to develop a smartphone-enabled music robot. Food stamps being misused for booze and spent on high-end Starbucks coffee drinks and fast food runs. $300,000 more to promote caviar sales by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And what the senator calls another bridge to nowhere. Hundreds of thousands of dollars spent on this covered bridge in Ohio, which sits nowhere near a road, walkway, or bike path.
This president has gone from Disney to Spielberg. Looney Tunes to outer space, and he's not finished yet. I predict his next production will be a Stephen King thriller. Since the bomb did not detonate, it was not deadly. Beam me up, Mr. Speaker. Maybe it's the type of jobs that are being created. Check this out. How about a handkerchief folder, a drawstring knotter, a hooker inspector, a pantyhose crotch closer machine operator supervisor, a muff winder, a fur blower, a whizzer operator, a brassiere cup molder fitter.
I probably should have been a little bit more diplomatic.
How about a drawstring knotter? That's really a goal in life. Screw supervisor, nut former, ball sorter, needle straightener, bucket chucker, slitter, creaser, slaughter operator. Don't laugh. These are all jobs listed by the Department of... I'd have to say beam me up, and I think these screw supervisors all work for the Internal Revenue Service.
Show me the beef.
The Department of Agriculture has come to several conclusions. Number one, big farm animals produce more manure than small farm animals. And number two, manure stinks. Beam me up, Mr. Speaker. $200 million to determine that manure stinks.
Well, one thing that never appears to head lower is wasteful government spending, and there was plenty of it this past year, highlighted in one senator's annual report of dubious federal outlays called the Waste Book. Hampton Pearson has more.
Calling out Congress for not making the tough choices when it comes to cutting federal spending, Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn's latest Waste Book highlights $30 billion worth of questionable government spending this year.
My contention.
The headliner, the Pentagon's decision to leave $7 billion worth of military equipment behind as troops pull out of Afghanistan. There was also the Army's mega blimp, a $300 million project halted this year intended for use in Afghanistan, but in 3 years of development, it made one trip lasting 90 minutes over New Jersey. Another $390,000 spent by NASA on the Green Ninja, a cartoon superhero created to motivate kids to take action regarding climate change, in the same year when budget cuts grounded manned space flights for the foreseeable future. Calls to the Pentagon and NASA for comment were not returned, but Coburn says much of the questionable spending is tied to the ability of government contractors to maximize profits at taxpayers' expense.
Until they have capital put at risk, you're never going to have those. They know how to control costs, but they also know how to milk the system. And now there's no penalty for milking the system and no reward for controlling costs.
Senator Coburn unveiled this year's edition of the Waste Book just moments after voting against cutting off debate on the budget bill, because he says Congress simply doesn't have its eye on the ball. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Hampton Pearson in Washington.